As a lifelong scholar, writer, documentarian, traveler, and teacher, I have come to know many unforgettable people. Some I've known for a long time, and others I've more recently been led to discover. They have one thing in common. Their work and achievements are generally considered outside of the mainstream, which is why you may be unfamiliar with their transformational messages and products. My mission is to bring them to you so they can reach out to you and share their gifts with you as you strive for more perfect health, abundance, joy, wisdom, and a deeper understanding of life's great questions.
Hello, friends. Welcome to my Alternative Wisdom Summit. I'm your host, Pamela Davis, and I am an investigative transformationalist. Not a vocabulary term that you're probably intimately acquainted with, but it simply means that I am always on the lookout for information that can help you change your life for the better. I was born with a ferocious curiosity, and at a very young age, I began pursuing what you might call uncommon interests. I've devoted much of my life to the exploration of great wonders and mysteries, and I've been fortunate to be able to work on projects around the world that were absolutely amazing. Projects like psychic archaeology, consciousness studies, research into life after death, and I've seen the exciting transformation that can actually happen when doors of understanding open up in our lives. I've actually experienced this excitement in my life also, and time and again I've witnessed transformation in the lives of others, which is why I'm here with you today, inviting you to step through one of those doors with me right now. However, before we get started, there are two items of procedure or business that we need to cover. Item number one. First, in order for you to get full benefit of this interview, please browse to Debbi Dachinger's page, and you do that by typing into your browser address bar www.alternativewisdomsummit.com/dare to dream. And that's three words written all together as one, DARETODREAM, dare to dream. You'll know you're on the right screen when you see the photo of our guest, Debbi Dachinger. There are multiple things you can do on this page, but right now all I want you to do is locate the box for audience comments that says "say something," and we hope that you will. Be sure to type in the geographical location where you're viewing from. We'd love to know that. And then if you hear some little gem in this upcoming interview that you really like, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of those, and you want to share your thoughts with others, we'd love to hear from you. Also, if you have questions about making your dreams come true or something else in the interview, this is where you can submit questions. Now, item number two, Debbi will be giving you a free gift as a thank you for being on this interview, and she'll tell more about that in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you about her. Debbi Dachinger is a goal achievement expert who teaches the practical and spiritual techniques to achieve dreams and goals. Debbi meditates on a regular basis, has studied several methods, and strongly suggests that all her clients engage in the practice to successfully be at peace and achieve their heart's desire. She's a radio and TV personality, a 3-time best-selling author, keynote speaker, and coach for things like goal attainment and how to be an exquisite interview on radio. Debbi's Dare to Dream radio show is a syndicated, multi-award-winning program with more than 2 million listeners, offering them inspiring information and methods on how to achieve goals and dreams. So, Debbi, welcome to the Alternative Wisdom Summit. And you know what? I'm not hearing you. I know that you're speaking, but I'm not hearing you.
How's that?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, great. I think we heard each other and then somehow got muted. But anyway, I was saying, Pamela, I'm very grateful to be here. Thanks for creating this space. I think it's wonderful for me to get to know new people that I haven't known before, or maybe don't know my work, or maybe know my work and want to follow me further. But I love talking about this subject, about dreams, which everybody has, and goals, which everybody is interested in achieving and accomplishing, no matter where you are in your life. So it's really a pleasure.
Well, I'm glad to have you. Now, first of all, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your journey and what led you to teaching goal achievement. What were some of the belief systems you were brought up with?
That's a very interesting question. I'm not sure I could actually put into words what the belief systems were, because I can tell you what I saw and experienced, that there was this incredible amalgam. Everything from a grandfather, I was particularly close with my grandparents. And my grandfather was a high achiever. He was very big and entertaining and amazing teacher, funny guy, really a great connector and wonderful in front of audiences, big inventor, a big author, did a lot out in the world and was a great service to a lot of people, and that was particularly in the music world. And then I saw other people who weren't, I think actually they had tremendous talent. I know their IQs were very high, but they weren't very well functioning as far as their dreams, their careers, their goals, because they had stuff going on in between their head that was very limiting to them. So it was really interesting for me to come from the great exploration of, what's possible and being limitless, to some other people living a very small, limited life. And that was very painful to see them go through, but also to experience, because I sort of mimicked some of that, even though that's not really who I am, and I don't believe that's who most of us are. So my journey is that I had a tremendous amount of experience in every camp, just like what I saw, everything from great success to not great success. And it didn't matter about my gifts, my talents, my capabilities. It was really more about what was going on inside of me. It was also about how I was willing to show up and how much work I was willing to do or not do. And I ended up experiencing a plethora. Once I figured out, let's just say that my life became a journey of how can I accomplish? Now, for a lot of us spiritual people out there, that's a really interesting word to use, because some people just like to flow and be. But I want to be clear, I'm all of that too. I'm a very spontaneous person. But I also I think life is fast, and I want to experience great things and fun. And if I'm going to do something like write a book, I don't want to write a book that's going to sit on a shelf somewhere and nobody's going to read it. In fact, it may not even sit on a shelf because no one's going to buy it. If I'm going to write a book, I want it to be a bestseller. That's just my interest. I like to experience things to that level. And so, because of that, I have had the great opportunity to experience that, whether it came to physicality, whether it came to learning things, whether it came to relationships, careers, all of them. So my journey has been creating success, taking dreams, and dreams are very near and dear to me because they're so personal and individual. How do I create a dream into fruition? Not your dream, not my parents' dream, not what somebody else thinks I should, could, would. What is my dream? And its meaning to me and my yearning behind it, and how can I give birth to it? And that's been my journey, is exploring it and experiencing it in just about every avenue of my life. And what is amazing, you can't write these things. You can't always predict where you're going to end up. That I would be here on this planet right now, known as an expert, being interviewed on so many different venues for goal achievement, being able to teach people worldwide in classes and teleseminars and through my books and through my shows about this very subject. And that's so gratifying to me, because we're all taught to dream big, but we're not necessarily taught how to do that. And I'm about the how. I'm about, here's the recipe, now go do it.
Well, this is such a pivotal time to be living. And the world is changing around us at warp speed, as never before. And it's my belief that we would not be here in the body at this time if we did not each have something very special to do to help transform the world to the very best of our understanding. Debbie, you say that we're all given a dream, which I also believe. But so many people are lost in today's world and have no idea what their dreams are. They live aimlessly, just existing from day to day, leading lives of, that old expression, quiet desperation. What are some of the tools that people can employ to discover or identify their dreams? And I mean something more than just getting quiet and looking within, which of course is necessary, but it doesn't work right away for everybody. Sometimes looking within means running right into a blank wall. So then what?
Well, I think first of all you have to wonder. You have to ponder. Like, have you ever wondered what it would be like, depending on what your dream is, to wake up and have the money that you prefer, so that you can create the freedom and give it where you really wanted to give financially, have the lifestyle you want? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to wake up every day doing work that you love and getting paid well for it? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have peace and a flow with life? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to travel the world? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have the dream you haven't yet created but so deeply desire, wake up and have that be your reality right now? So that's what Dare to Dream is about, but it's not just Dare to Dream, it's Dare to create all your dreams into your reality. So Pamela, I hear you asking for specific tools, like let's jump right in and give the people something, some kind of content, so they can create dreams. Absolutely.
Well, it's more than create a dream. It's first of all figuring out if you even have one. I mean, I like to go a little deeper here. I mean, where I know personally people who just, when I say, well, what do you really want to do? I don't know. I really don't know. And I've seen people float like that, people with tremendous abilities and talents who float like that for a long time. And I worry about them, And I think that there are a lot of people like that. So to find the dream and then, some strategies to create it.
Well, there are several categories. When it comes to, do you know what your dream is? I actually believe that everybody does. You just maybe not have tapped into it. So first of all, I want to be clear. That's a minority. Most people are actually, when you say quiet desperation, they're actually suffering because they really, really sense their dream. Like a dream's been given to us. It's like an assignment or a calling. And you're right, this is the time, if ever there was a time, because time is quickened up and it's such an amazing time to create. We have the universe at our backs. But there is also a minority of people, they do have that gray area of, well, what is that like to create? Or do I even know if that's my dream? And maybe I'm not clear about what a dream is. But you can start really simple. This doesn't have to be something tremendous. You don't have to start with the big kahuna. You can just look into the areas of health and wealth and relationship and say, what do I desire there? Am I in the body that I prefer? Am I in the health that I prefer? Am I in, now you may not want to be in a relationship, that's perfectly fine to love being single. Or perhaps you really desire to be in a relationship but that hasn't created for you yet. And if so, what would that look like? What would an ultimate partner look like? What would doing work that you love look like? What would your finances look like? What kind of fun? Because dreams are fun. What do you want to do that would make you really laugh and feel happy and joyful and peaceful? I mean, those questions right there should be starting to create some kind of a list going on for you that, oh yeah, that would be good. In fact, even smelling flowers, or I've always wanted to take a trip to, or I want to experience, or I want to take a dance class, or yes, I really want to do the love thing, but I haven't figured that out, or my body's not quite where it is, or I'd really love to live in such and such a house, or such and such a country or state, or I have all these things, but internally, I don't really have the peace that I like. I am always yearning for more, and I'd like to know what it's like to just be in the now and just be fully gratified and full of appreciation. All of those things are, can be, our dreams. So you start there, and that's enough to create your dream. Because first of all, we have to know what it is, or sometimes you can just have a sense. It feels like this. A sense can be enough. And for those who like to flow, you can flow and follow the next right thing that points you in the direction of. It's a bit of a fun mystery. And I certainly do that sometimes in my life, and sometimes it leads me to the greatest magic and adventures imaginable. Does that answer your question, Pamela?
It pretty much does, yes. And we can, as we go along, we'll talk about perhaps other strategies too. Now, what about the obstacles that can affect your goal setting and your goal achievement? Talk about dealing with obstacles.
People have an amazing buffet to choose from of obstacles, and usually those obstacles, if you look around your life, it becomes somewhat of a pattern about what's going on. So think about what it is that's plaguing you. It could be fear. It could be failure. It could be doubt. And some people have trouble managing others, managing time, managing minutia. And all of these really interesting sabotages, including what we do to ourselves, by the way, because a lot of people will get up to the start line of their dream and say, I don't believe I'm capable. I've failed so many times that I don't believe this is going to happen. And no matter what your obstacle is that's going on, your sabotage, what is stopping those big dreams? Because if you've got a dream and it's not creating, there's one element that's in common. There's one thing that's being brought to the party over and over, and that's really you. So if indeed any of these resonate with you, or there may be something else I haven't said that you could put in its place and you say, that's the thing that gets in my way over and over again, it's not creating this. But over that, the umbrella is resistance. So as big as our dream is as big as the resistance that comes up. It's a really interesting premise. We have this beautiful, big, luscious dream that's calling to us and saying, come forward, I want to be created, I want to be birthed through you. And as big as that is the resistance that comes up within us that's saying, yes, but. Yes, but. And that but is where we really go down the tubes, where we really stop pursuing our dream. So all the resistance is a dragon, and that dragon guards the gold, and the gold is our dream. So it's about finding the ways to move forward anyway. And I got to say, that's the everything in creating the dream. You can do the dream that looks like, I want a parking space, I want to get a ticket at a certain price for an event. Now, those are the simple dreams. But when we really go for the big things that pull up the stuff within us that's been stopping us from creating, those patterns, those are the healing moments, the defining moments. If we do what we've always done, which is to back away and stop going after the dream because of the obstacle, we'll get what we've always got, which is to not create the dream and have regret. The burn of a dream will pass. The burn that it takes to creating it, it will pass. But the regret of not creating it will not. That'll live with us forever. And that's the amazing thing about a dream for all of us. Those who create the dream know the amazing feeling of what it's like to take the journey and to get to the ultimate destination and say, I did this. And we are completely redefined, by the way. We're indefinable anyway, because as energy, we're expanding everywhere. We are everything, period. And we're connected with everything. So let's be clear about that. But in a sense, we start to inform ourselves in a really large way how incredibly limitless we are. Wow, I had myself defined like this. That's not even entirely true. I am so much bigger, better, greater. Because I'm part of the all that is anyway. So, there's no separation there. And we also know, as far as dreams are concerned, that when we don't create them, the pain of not creating our dream, it hurts to work in a job we don't love and not do what we prefer and not have our gifts and talents and proclivities put out into the world. It hurts when we have all these desires, but we can't financially afford them, and they become wishes, and in fact, they become things that really make us feel like great disappointments. It hurts when we feel like a failure. It hurts when we're alone, but we really desire so deeply to be loved and connected to others. And whatever your dream is to have, be, do, or experience, there's a reason why it's calling to you and being asked to be given birth. So this sabotage, there's a bottom line. When this resistance comes up, there's a choice. We can choose comfort or we can choose courage. Comfort is an illusion. So we can choose the illusion of comfort or we can choose courage. And what does courage really mean? Ultimately, courage means to do something in spite of. That's all. That's all bravery really is. It's to say, I am afraid, and yet I'm going to do this anyway. I'm feeling doubt. I'm going to move forward anyway. I'm going to do this for me because I'm worth it. Because there's no magic trick. There really isn't. There's just decision, choice. That's the bottom line. You choose to face it in the face of whatever it is that's saying the yes but, and then we make it into a yes and. Yes, and I'm going to move forward. Thank you so much for sharing. That's great, Fear. You've never done a darn thing for me before. But I'm going to move forward. And I want to say two other things about these obstacles because it's so important. I really want to see people succeed. The first thing is, as far as fear is concerned, let's be clear. In this moment, in this present moment, here we all are. Take a deep breath, right? Look around. Just look around and see what you see in the area, the space that you're in. Literally, look around wherever you're sitting. It's okay to not look at the screen for 1 minute. And now come back with me. And whatever you saw, okay, now we're much more present with each other because we're in the now. There is no fear right here. Fear only exists in the future. And that's a future that hasn't even been created yet. Fear exists in something we're putting out there that isn't even here or real, but we are concerned, worried, anxious, etc. about. So that's that about fear. So as far as your dreams, let that go. Be in the now. And failure is another very interesting one. Things happen to people and they create it into this statement. This happened, therefore I am a failure. This has happened so many times, therefore I fail at. I can't possibly succeed at. It's an illusion. And I want to give you a different point of view, and that's all this is a different point of view about this very same thing. When we set out for our dreams, one of two things is always going to happen. We set out for our dreams, and we're either going to have success or we're going to have an education. That's it. If you set out for your dream and you have a success, terrific. You're getting to experience what that's like, what the journey was like, and how phenomenal to create your dream. If you start out on the way to your dream and something along the way doesn't happen like you would have preferred it to, it's a brilliant education opportunity for you to say, what am I bringing to the party that's not working? Something I am doing, because I'm the common factor with all my dreams and all my life and all my creation and all my reality. What am I doing? This is not a judgment of right, wrong, good, bad. This is an education. It is edifying to say, I keep aligning with this person that doesn't work out. I keep aligning with this situation, or I keep making these choices. Or you know what? I keep trying to figure everything out, but God bless my cute little soul, my cute little blonde hair. There's only so much I could possibly know on the planet. Was I born a marketer? No. Was I born a dream coach? No. Was I born knowing how to promote my book into bestseller? No. Whatever it is you need to learn and be edified about, get a coach. Get somebody who's really successful and has done it already and teaches it well and will be a great support for you and help you toward your dream. Align yourself with that which already exists that can help you get there. Spend the money, take the time, because it'll actually save you money and get you there much quicker. So failure does not exist. It means something didn't work out as you preferred. Take that information, because it's begging to be healed, begging to be changed, begging for you to take contrary action. So instead of you hitting that wall over and over again, you're going to learn how to make a right or a left or whatever it is you need to do. It'll become abundantly clear, whatever your result is, that you need to be doing something different, and probably what that different thing is will also become abundantly clear. So I just want to say that choose the illusion of comfort or choose courage. And courage just means you keep moving forward, and also that you can do it. You can create anything.
That's terrific. Now, this is wonderful advice. Now, you talked in one of your programs about the pitfalls of playing it small, playing it safe. And believe me, that's something that I know a lot about. I did that for a number of years and for a number of reasons that really only began to get clear for me in retrospect. And it's just not a fun place to be. So talk about that for our viewers, the playing small, playing safe.
Sure. I've certainly done it myself, and it's tremendously painful. I'll give you an example and see where you resonate with this, what feels like something you might have done, and chances are you could all jump in and maybe share your stories too. But I know when I was an actress and a singer, I was tremendously talented. There's no doubt about it, and it's so easy for me right here to be able to share that with you. I think back then I was very waffly about it. Like, I knew when I was performing on camera, on stage, yeah, I got that I was talented. But in the moments when I was auditioning, I don't think I was always so clear. Now, for example, I was in a class once, and a very, very high-end casting director I was really connected with. He got me, he got my work, he got my talent, loved me. And he invited me to the most prestigious theater here in Los Angeles. He said, I want you to audition. This actually happened for me many times. And I would show up at these things, and something about being in the waiting room with all those people and having my song to sing or having my monologue or whatever it was, by the time I got up on stage, I was so filled with the smallness of me. It didn't matter how I was created. The bigness, the largeness, the energy, the capability. I would get there, and it would take over. And I blew opportunities so many times because of myself. That's really a painful experience, that you make yourself go through all those hours and hours and hours. I also have had the experience of showing up and not having any of that go on, and just like doing my thing and acing it and getting something. I've been all over the page with that. I even had the experience of being offered, interestingly enough, I was offered once a voiceover opportunity, and I'd actually never done voiceover before, and somebody was kind enough to recommend me when a really well-known actress dropped out of a cartoon, and they were auditioning several actresses. I happened to be one of them. They sent me the script. I fell in love with it, and I didn't have any of that going on. I just was so focused on falling in love with the script, the character, and what was possible. I did the audition. I didn't do very well the first time. I could tell that I was not making the director laugh, and this was a funny character. So I said, please, please, before we hang up, I have a second read. Can I do that? I was very lucky. He said yes. I did the second read, and he was, well, of course, we're on the telephone, right? This is not done in person. We're on the telephone, and he was rolling, which made me so happy, because he certainly didn't laugh the first time around. When we were done, he said, I have not heard anybody do a read like that. And the bottom line is I got the part. First time out. So, you know, what was the difference? Now, I'll give you the story of Paul, talking about playing small. I've never met Paul. Paul was one of my students. He's somebody who participated in some of the teleseminars I've done about creating your dreams come true. And we were having a conversation about this failure and what is really possible. And it was so interesting because Paul spoke up. Father, lived in the Midwest, 2 children, single dad, and he talked about his smallness. And his smallness was keeping him very small at work and in his personal life. He was afraid of public speaking, and I think also public connecting. So at work, he would not go for promotions because that meant he would have to start speaking in front of people, and that terrified him. When he went to parties, Paul really didn't like going to social events because that meant he had to talk to people and be visible, and he wasn't comfortable. So we went through back and forth, and we did some playing on the subject, and when we were done, Paul recognized that there were just his thoughts getting in the way that were creating his smallness. And he actually didn't know what was possible. He actually didn't know, well, what if I spoke in front of people? What's the worst thing that could possibly happen? Would I survive that? And what's the best thing that could possibly happen? What would that create? We did a lot of work around this, and I love when people are hungry and willing, at the very least willing, right? Choose comfort or courage. Paul chose courage to do in spite of his own misgivings about the following subjects, which were speaking and being social. So he made a choice, and at work, he got up and did a speech. Was he scared? Yes. How did he do? He lived. And you know what? Nobody in the meeting came up to him and said, oh my God, Paul, you were so afraid. That was really weird. Everybody said, wow, Paul, we've been waiting. That was great to hear you. And by the way, thanks for speaking about XXXXX. So that was very interesting to me. And Paul sat back and went, wow, I said something very interesting. Like nobody focused on what was going on for me inside. It was actually successful. So what happened to Paul? He started doing more. And what happened to Paul? Once there was a job opening, he went for it. And then that parlayed into his social events. And he started going up to people despite his fear. He chose courage. Hi, I'm Paul. How are you? And I taught Paul how to focus on others to keep a conversation going and just some tips so he could be successful there too. I mean, this guy, sky's the limit. He's really gone to the top. And the same thing, I've known people who are artists who lived a terribly small life because they were told, well, you can't make it in the arts. So they did something else and they were miserable. And we worked together to get them to see, you know, you really can't run away from that stuff. You can't run away from who you really are. So one person in particular was in medicine and very unhappy. And we worked so that on the outside she could create what she preferred, what her talents really were. And I will tell you, it took her a couple of years for the outside to match her so that she could self-sustain and make a living at it, but now that's all she does. She is an artist, a fully paid artist. She gets paid by the city, she does gallery shows by individuals, she teaches art. I mean, you want to talk about a happiness quotient and a change of life. So yes, Pamela, most people, a lot of people, play very small. And if ever there was a time to not do it on the planet, I mean, we're all alive for a very particular reason right now, and the planet really needs us. And if it helps you at all to get outside of yourself and say, maybe what I was given isn't so much about me. Stop making it so much about you and recognize when you shine your light, really shine your light brightly, you are going to be illuminating the path for yourself and so many others, whether or not they ever come forward and tell you about it or don't. But I have it happen now and then where people speak up and say, thank you so much for, or I really appreciate when you, and it's terrific. And maybe they're the one voice out of the thousands that hear me, get my stuff, follow me. But it means very much that I am making an impact. And for you as well. Whatever it is that you're involved in or choose to do, you will create an impact. You will inspire others when you follow your dreams. So time to play big, folks.
Well, it really is a life-changing, you know, when you finally realize what you've been doing and you decide that you're just not going to do that anymore. Life is too short to hide your light under a bushel, as it says in the Bible, you know. We all have a reason to be here, and there are important things to do, and we can't hide, you know. Now we're going to have to break away for a second because I have to talk to you, to my friends, to my viewers. And for those of you who joined in late, I'll repeat what I said earlier. If you aren't already on Debbie's page, then you need to go there now. In the address box of your web browser, type in this address, www.alternativewisdomsummit.com/dare-to-dream, DARETODREAM, all one word. And you'll know you're on the right page when you see the words, when you see Debbi Dachinger's photograph, and you'll know that you're there. Now, friends, Debbie has a free gift especially for you as a thank you for listening to us here today on this interview. Debbie, your free your free thank you gift is a terrific ebook. I really enjoyed it, called "The Magic Bullets to Achieve Your Goals Every Time." In a sentence or two, could you please describe for our listeners what they're getting today in your Magic Bullets to Achieve Your Goals Every Time thank you gift?
Yes. So in each of the things that I put out, it is very important for me not to replicate. And so I'm giving you basically a bit of the secret sauce so you can take whatever it is that's in your heart and follow it through to completion. And it really is the bullets to get you there, steps 1 through 5.
Well, people are going to enjoy this enormously. And friends, I'll tell you in a few moments how to get this wonderful free gift. But while you're on this page, I want you to find the special offer button. It's big and it's orange, so it's easy to find, easy to see. You click on that special offer button now. You'll know that you're on the right page when you see the word special offer followed by the words Debbi Dachinger's Goal Achievement Home Study Course Package. And it's, despite that long title, it's really terrific. So on this page you can read all about the exclusive special offer that Debbie has put together only for you for listening and watching this interview today. Debbie, your package is called Debbi Dachinger's Goal Achievement Home Study Course Package. In 2 or 3 sentences, please tell our watchers, our viewers, a little bit about what's in your special offer package that you and your team have put together for them.
Absolutely. It is a home study course, which means you can go at your own pace. That means that there is a really yummy treasure of everything that's going to help you with whatever's going on for you on the inside so that you can create the outside that you prefer. It also means it's got the very pragmatic tools. So there's structure, there's a recipe. It's a secret sauce you can take literally any dream through, and once you understand it intimately, and it's easy to understand, you can replicate it over and over again. And it's got videos, it's got audios, it's got PDFs, it's got my international best-selling books. And it also has these amazing meditations and affirmations, everything. When you take it home, go home, create your dreams, and make it happen. And it's really a very joyful process, and I'm excited for you to get started on your success.
Well, I'm excited that we're able to offer it. Friends, if you'd like to take Debbie up on her special offer at this exclusive 90% discount, scroll to the top of the screen and click on the Add to Cart button. The rest is easy. Just fill in the form and click on the Submit Order button. So, yeah, fill in the form. Be sure to add it to the cart. Then click on your Submit Order button. And remember, in a moment, I'll be telling you how to claim Debbie's free gift just for watching this interview. Now, Debbie, I want to go back to a couple of questions here. There was something that I really liked, and I thought it was extremely helpful to people. This was a really good idea on your part, I think. I really like the working backwards technique. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about, going back from your goal back to the steps backward to how you were going to get there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So there is, by the way, there's a recipe. So in the home study course, you're going to get a recipe of how to do it. So this is just a piece of one of the steps. And basically, it's a rubber band theory. It's actually a law of. It's actually a law. There's a karmic law. There's a law of attraction. There's a law of reversibility. And that's what this is when Pamela calls it the backwards technique. But essentially, you're here and your dream is there. And Pamela, can I use you for a second, and will you share what one of your dreams are that you have not yet created?
Yeah. Okay.
Would you say it out loud? Can you share with the masses?
I guess that would help. Well, I have written a novel. I have written a reincarnation love story. And I am my agent is working with it now, submitting it, and you know, it's not, and that's where it is now. So
What is your dream?
the dream is to have it become, well, actually, it was written from a screenplay that I wrote. And so it's always been intended to be a film. So my dream is to have it be published and become, you know, a marvelous movie with A-list actors.
Fabulous. I
Yeah.
love that dream. That's a beautiful dream.
Thank you.
Great. So, and anybody out there, by the way, just fill in the blank what your dream is. Something you haven't created, but it really lives in you and it's big and yummy. So here's the backwards technique. And Pamela, you can do this in real time and just think this through. So here's where Pamela exists, and her dream, which is not yet created, is out here. And this is the idea of having a screenplay, right? It's being produced, it's being backed by a studio, and all these A-list actors are just saying to their agents, get me in for an audition, get me in. I loved the script. They've all read the script and they can't wait to get in. Wow. Well, let's take the first part about that somebody, I would say the first part of the dream might be that somebody buys and produces, actually follows through on the production of the screenplay. So what would it take to get from here to that? What would need to happen? Now, you can start here and just start trying to figure out, like, well, this, that, but that's a little confusing. Why don't we start from the premise that it's already done? It already is. The screenplay has already been bought and produced. So what would need to be the one thing that happened right before it was produced? Now, I'm going to put it out there so I can get us started so it becomes clear. And I would say the one thing is the contract is signed. You're in a meeting and the contract is being signed, and it's a contract you love. Let's take the step right before that. By the way, you're writing this down. The step right before that would be that you have just gotten the most amazing agent who has the greatest connections in Hollywood and globally, and loves your screenplay, is going to bat for you. The step that would be right before that would be that you're having meetings with some of the most powerful agents, and also some of the most, let's say, aligned with your message and personality agents, because that would be important too. You want to really like who you work with. And what would be the step before that? Now, Pamela, I'm going to let you chime in because you're getting the feel for this. What would be before that?
Well, this is kind of a new way of approaching things for me, so I'd have to think about it a little bit. But I think that I visualize doing a lot of in-person promotion of the book. I mean, the book is obviously a major piece here.
I'm going to interrupt you because I don't want to get into a lot of thought about this, because this backwards technique is literally a bullet point of to do. It's action steps only, period. Now, the visualization, awesome. You can absolutely add that to the mix, to the soup, to start creating what you want. I would highly recommend it. I think you should use all your senses to create your dream.
Yeah, but I didn't mean that the next step was visualization. I meant that the next step was doing a lot of promotion for the book.
Okay. Well, you could certainly write that down, and maybe as you go through the steps, you'll start to see that there may be a huge gap between looking for the agent and the book promotion, right? But well, essentially, what you want to do, I just want to guide you here a little bit so you get a sense of...
I think you should do that because
okay.
you know more about this than I do. So
and all I'm doing right here, just so we're clear, because I want to see Pamela be successful. I want to see all of you be successful, but all I'm doing is just trying to use her particular example, and it's a beautiful example. I love this example because it's a huge dream. And why not? And why not Pamela? Why not any of you? I've created huge dreams. I know people have created amazing dreams. We all can do this. Pamela can do this. So you see where we're going. backwards. So we've gotten to the agent, and what comes before the agent is probably that she has finished her screenplay. Maybe she's done the reading. And what comes before finishing the screenplay and doing the reading is that she's found the most amazing person to write it into a screenplay. And what comes before that? Maybe that her book has become a bestseller. What comes before that? She's done a bestseller campaign. And what comes before the bestseller campaign for a book? Maybe she took my teleseminar on how to be a self-published author and become an international bestseller. And what comes before that? She's published her book. And what comes before that? She's edited and written the draft. Do you see what happens? You literally go backwards. What are the action steps that need to happen until you, boom, you're here? I've just written it out. It doesn't need to be perfect. You start where you start, because trust me, anytime you go on the journey to your dream, you're going to modify. You're going to say, oh, this works, this works. Oh, you're going to learn more and more and go, there's a gap here. This needs to be filled in because, as it turns out, I need an agent. Or as it turns out, I need a PR person. As it turns out, I need to hire a whole team. Or whatever it is, or I need an education. Or I need to take a class, a workshop, a coach. Many things may come up. It's a beautiful, fluid experience. But you must have this in the backwards technique so you have your treasure map. How do you get from where you are to where you prefer to be? That's the bottom line. And it's like a rubber band. You snap it, right? Or you go the other way and tink, and it's out there at the dream. Make sense?
Yes, it certainly does. And, you know, although my example is not exactly, well, what would you say, perhaps commonplace, but then whose dream is actually when you stop to think about it. But I think that this technique can be applied, say, you know, if you want to start, if you have fabulous recipes and you would like to start your own line of foods, for example, you know. I mean, you could use the same process thinking that out too.
Sure. I live in Los Angeles, so the screenplay thing, that works, you know. Who doesn't want to be an actor or write a screenplay? But, you know, whatever it is, I like the fact that you went big, and I hope that everybody out there goes big. But I also want to say this. Everything's just an interesting point of view, right? I also want to say this. So if you're not that well-schooled or confident creating dreams, start small. I want to take a dance class. What will it take? Write out those steps. Start towards them. Make that come true. And you start building your confidence in that muscle so that it's easier and easier for you to create bigger and bigger.
Okay, well, that's all right. I hope everybody's got this now. You work backwards. It's like what they say when they find a crashed UFO. They back engineer what they find.
Indeed. Although don't look at your dreams as being too alien, but yes. You basically are going to backwards engineer. That's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah. All right. Now let's do something that our viewers can follow along with here. Again, it was an exercise that I went through with you in one of your programs, and I don't know what you call it, but it's, you know, you take people backwards in time and then forwards in time. You know the one I mean. So. Yeah. Let's try that.
Fabulous. So I don't usually tell you before we're going to do it that information because I like you to be very much in this moment. And I am very excited to take you through just to gain some clarity. So let everything go right now, and I would ask everybody to close their eyes, actually. And I will bring you back to this Google Hangout because it is very visual, but just for the moment, if you would close your eyes. And deeply breathe. And keep your eyes closed. And I ask you just to release all anxiety, all concerns, anything that takes you out of the moment. Just know in this moment everything is fine, everything is well. Plant your feet, uncross. If you're in a car, you're not going to do this, but of course if you're in a car, you're probably not watching us on Google Hangout. And just deeply breathe and be here now. And in the breath where everything's fine and everything's good, I want you to just think about a dream that's really important to you, that you have not yet created, but you really deeply, deeply desire to be in your life. And from where you are right now, I'm going to ask you to go back in time 10 years. Go back 1 decade, 10 years ago. And how old were you 10 years ago? What age were you then? Going back in time 10 years ago, just see yourself. Where were you living? What were you doing for money? What did you look like? Were you in a relationship? What were you like physically, emotionally, and spiritually? And can you see that any crises or perceived challenges then, you made it through? You made it through. And did you notice that anything that seemed like a really major drama or issue actually helped create you into the person that you are today? And from who you are today, right now, will you impart some wisdom to the you 10 years ago? Just take a minute and let yourself then, as though you were a traveler from the future, going to encourage and love and support that being that you were 10 years ago. Give yourself then some suggestions of loving guidance that you really need to hear. Do that now. Good. And do you see that everything you went through created you into who you are today? And I ask you to come back to today, right now, and keeping your eyes closed. Go forward 10 years. Go forward 10 years into the future. And 10 years into the future, how old will you be? With loving eyes, what will you look like? What will you be doing? Where will you live? Who will you be like physically, emotionally, and spiritually? And you see yourself being yourself 10 years in the future with all your dreams come true. Just experience what that's like. And can you allow your future self to tell the you now some sage, loving advice and suggestions that you now need to hear for anything you perceive to be going through or experiencing? What do you need to hear, and let your future self tell you that now? And bringing yourself back to the now, right here, right now, still with your eyes closed. I want you to see that dream you thought about in the very beginning. What is the dream you haven't created? And I want you to see it just right outside of yourself, that dream, as though it's real. And I want you to race toward it and merge with it now. Just merge with that dream right now. It is your reality. It is here now. What is it like to have that dream right now? What is that like? To be living that dream is your reality. And from this space, invite in Source, the God, Goddess, all that is. Allow that energy of which you are a part of to tell you right now 3 things 3 things that you need to do in order to create that dream into your reality now. 3 steps you need to take, and listen. And I'm going to bring you back to the now with that information. Open your eyes, fully here, fully energized, fully back, beautiful, in the now, here, with that beautiful information and that sage advice from your future self, the loving support of your past, which is what you brought you here now anyway, and the source, all that is, who gave you the 3 steps, and if you like, write that down very quickly, just the bullet points of the action that you need to take in order to create your dream into your reality right now. And I welcome you back.
Thank you, Debbie. I think that's a very useful exercise to do. And you know, since everything, our past, our present, and our future, all coexist in the now, what you can understand is that in the now, what we dream, what we see ourselves doing, the goals that we want to achieve they're already done. It is already done, and therefore we can know that, and we can ask, as Debbie just it guided us to do. We can ask our future self, which is existing now. We can ask for that advice. How did you get there? What did you do? Tell me the steps. And I think that since we're all linked into a super intelligence, we're all linked into divine mind, I think that this kind of work can be very, very powerful and very, very effective. So Debbie, thank you for that.
You're so welcome. And I just want to say, kind of exciting, I led a group of people through this particular process in the midst of a really large workshop that we were doing. And I happened to have a woman in the audience. She's a well-known filmmaker and an author. And she called me a week later after my workshop, and she said, I just wanted to share this story with you, that after my workshop and after she did this process, she actually did a book signing. And she was sitting there for like an hour, and nobody came by, and she said, this is really weird. I don't know why I'm doing this book signing. I'm all alone. And she didn't see it necessarily as a success. But what did happen is a man came on, and a man said, I've heard you speak. I think you're fabulous. And I really like you. I'd actually like to get to know you. And I was wondering if it's possible that I could take you out to dinner sometime. I'd like to take you on a date. And she said her jaw hit the ground because she had just done my process. And here is this incredibly articulate, accomplished woman. What she didn't have in her life was a relationship. And she thought, this is a divorced person. She's had children and everything. But she was ready. She really felt like, that's my dream right now. I really want love. And from that process, she went out to do the book signing. Nobody showed up but this one guy who wanted to date her. And so apparently they'd been communicating back and forth. Now that's just from doing this process. That's the power of doing this work around the dreams. When you get out of your way, because our best thinking doesn't get us there, but when we get out of our way and really do the work, really learn the recipe, it's incredible, the magic of what we can create.
Well, also I think it's important to know that the fulfillment of the dream doesn't always show up in the way you think it will.
Right. That's so true. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Thank you for saying that, Pamela. That's a huge point. It doesn't always show up. That's why we can't be married to these results, or I did this and this didn't. You have to be very fluid. It may not be like this, like that woman. That was very quick. But it could also be when you least expect it. And another piece of that truth of what you just said is also when we say yes to a dream, when we say yes to stepping into something, other things always show up that we would never have anticipated. Yeah. Things show up because we are in the vibration of the yes, the vibration of the magnetism, and the vibration of creation, the vibration of what is possible. So many other beautiful things come to us, and that really is the magic of stepping in, and it creates this amazing adventurous life.
I can certainly endorse that. And I've experienced that myself so many times. So it works. It really does. Well, here's the next question. This has to do with exactly what we're talking about. One of the big dream killers is doubt. So how can people overcome doubt, which in most cases works out to be self-doubt?
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing. What is doubt really? It's the opposite of certainty, isn't it? It's having a lack of certainty in anything, ourselves, the circumstances that the universe loves supports us, in trust, in our family. It's doubting time, it's doubting capability, that we're as good as, all of that, marketable, monetizable. So really, doubt is just an energy. And where do you want to invest? So you got a lot of stocks you can put your time, energy, money, thoughts, beliefs into. Doubt is one of them. How's that working out for you? I'm going to imagine not pretty good. But you could take that same exact energy and just veer it the other way and make another decision. Now, I can tell you that in the steps to creating a dream come true, one of the biggest, most important ones is called the acknowledge where you're at and what you need to do different. So if doubt is the one that keeps coming up, to be resilient means you have to take contrary action. Listen, I doubted myself tons. But if I put my stock into that doubt, I would never be where I am today. The first time somebody said to me, can you speak in front of this big group? I was sick. I was really sick. Did I do the work? Yes. Did I have the idea of what I was going to talk about set? Yes. Did I practice like crazy? Yes. I have no problem doing that stuff. But sometimes it's about what's between the ears that's the issue. Now, if I literally, before I got up to speak one of the first times, I wanted to cancel out. I was telling my significant other, my partner, I don't want to do this. I just didn't want to do it. But I didn't act on that. You can have these feelings, have them as much as you want, but just don't act on them. So I got up and I spoke. Yeah. And what do you think happened? Like most of us. Now, I could have been very afraid, but that isn't what happened. I got up and it was like magic. All that preparation came into play. I love people, and being in front of people, that connection, that juice, that energy, bam! Something amazing happened beyond my wildest dreams. There wasn't a shred of doubt. There wasn't a shred of fear. It was an amazing experience. Now, once I have that in my cache, I get it. Okay, doubt, really interesting. Thanks for sharing. You sure don't know what you're talking about. I don't think I'm going to make you CEO of my company. You're not going to run this company very well. But what I know is, not only can I do this, I got this. So then the next time the speaking thing comes up, oh, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Then the audiences get bigger, the situation, you always have to rise to the occasion. We are always expanding and growing, expanding, growing, expanding, growing. And if we create a dream and then creating another dream and another dream, yes. Listen, I have talked to the biggest minds, leaders, transformational people in the world. And occasionally I may find one or two peanuts out there who say, no, I feel no fear. I feel nothing. And I believe them. The majority of people that we look up to, whose products we buy and things we do, if they're real with you, will say, yes. Because I'm moving into territory I have no idea what to do about. But we all say a couple of things over and over again. Choose comfort or courage, and the courage is in spite of the doubt you move forward. And 2, when you don't know how, you learn how. You get the coach, you get the products, you get what it is you need to get you to the next step and level. That's the bottom line. It's what we all do. The greatest people, I don't care, Joe Vitale or Oprah or Richard Branson, none of it just done it on our own. We had the huge big dreams, yes. And we got ourselves as far as we knew how to, yes. But when we got to a point where something was plaguing us and we needed more in order to get further, we took that more. We took the time, money, and energy to get more.
Yeah. Well, there's so many pathways, and it's really up to each person to find the pathway that that is there, and to have faith that it will lead to others, you know. Now, let me take a moment, just break away for a second, to remind you audience members that by now you should have been to the special offer page. And if you haven't, here's the link to Debbie's webpage for this interview. It's www.alternativewisdomsummit.com/dare to dream. And on this page, you look for the special offer button, and then click on that special offer button now. On this special offer page, you can read all about the exclusive special offer that Debbie has generously put together with so many wonderful items. For example, you take a look at item number 4, the secret recipe to make your goals your reality. Now remember when Debbie spoke about obstacles to our goals? Well, this is where you get everything she has to say about your individual obstacles and how they affect your goal setting. You'll find out why the secret recipe to goal setting works and learn how to make goals a reality in your life. So go ahead, take a look, and take advantage of Debbie's special offer at this exclusive 90% discount. So click on the Add to Cart button now. The rest is easy. You just fill in the form and click on the Submit Order button now. So Debbie, we're just, I got a list here, and I know I'm not going to get through it, but one more question here. You emphasize the importance of writing. And why is this so important?
Have you ever wanted to make something in the kitchen, baking a dinner for some people, and had a recipe but gone to the grocery store without the list of what to buy?
I've made that mistake too many times. Yes.
Exactly. And then you're like, well, I think it was paprika and some kind of garlic, but I can't remember if it was, yeah. And it's going to be, you're going to get home and you've got half the stuff, not half the stuff, so here's the story. Because I get asked this, I have participants, and it's very interesting. I get asked this a lot because some people are like, I just want to think about it. You know what? Just surrender to this one thing. There is a genius in the writing, and I always say write, because here's another example. If I was to tell you there's this amazing island to get to, and when you get to that island, all your dreams are going to come true, and that's all I said, wouldn't you want to know how to get to the island? Yeah. Well, then I'd probably write down the directions and hand it to you, and then you know how to travel there. So the island is your dream. You want to get to your dream, and when you write down the action steps, you understand how to take it. If you think of something brilliant, like I should buy this, take this, do this research, make this phone call, whatever it is that's going to get you there, have it on a list. Because what you do is you take out your list every day, and you go through that list so you know how to create your dream. Yes, writing is very, very important. And guess what? For those who aren't crazy about writing, the good news is you're not writing a life story. You're not writing a whole lot. You're just writing down bullet points. Just like we did in the backwards technique, it's just a few words. You'll understand what the rest of it is. That's your treasure map. So yes, you want to write it.
You know, I'd like to add something to that too. Personally, I think, okay, yes, you can use a computer. You know, yes, you can. But for me, I think that there is something kind of magical and definitely organic about taking a pad of paper and a pen or a pencil. There is something about the thoughts moving down through your arm and through your hand onto that paper that somehow, I think, makes a more powerful connection. I think it lends a certain element of reality that can be very helpful. I mean, I'm sure that doing it, you know, any way that you want to do it is good, but for me, I like the physical writing in a case like this.
Absolutely. And if you know that works for you, you do what works for you. That's magic. Do that. If being on a computer works for you, do that. If texting your action steps to yourself works, do that. It's really not about the how. It's about the that you do. Let's be clear. You know, in every time in history, throughout our entire history, there have been really brave and daring souls who had dreams. And those really brave and daring souls doubted themselves. They probably even had a lot of difficulty with society, who criticized them, who didn't understand them, who put them down. But these really brave and daring souls had one thing. They struggled to forge a channel for their own genius. They really believed in their vision. They believed in their dream. And despite not even seeing the dream yet, right? It didn't exist. But they had that deep desire, that motivated desire, and they trusted in a dream that didn't even exist to still create it. And they went forward and they turned the beat around, and the ripples of time were changed. Sometimes history was changed because they believed in a dream that nobody else could see or perceive yet. And that's why the dream was given to them. So however it is that we get there, the fact that we choose the courage to do it anyway, to also be a brave and daring soul, to dare to create our dreams into our reality, that's really ultimately all that's important.
Well, I think that's a fabulous way to wind this up. Unfortunately, I cannot believe that we're really out of time. As I said, I've got so much more I'd love to talk to you. You're a wonderful guest, and you have so many inspiring things to say. But I have, I had to give some important information to our audience, something that they've been waiting for. And this is how you get your free thank you gift. You need to be on Debbie's webpage. In case you haven't seen this page yet, it's located at www.alternativewisdomsummit.com/dare to dream. And to get to the thank you gift, you click on the special offer button to get to the special offer page. And then you scroll down and look for the box with the red dotted lines that has the heading Debbi Dachinger's Thank You Gift. And fill in your name, email address, and click the send button, and within moments we'll automatically send you your link to Debbie's thank you gift. And for you that joined this interview late and missed some of what we spoke about, don't worry, we'll be posting the replay in a few minutes, and we'll leave it up for 48 hours. And if you want to share this free 48-hour replay with a friend, please send them to www.alternativewisdomsummit.com. Also, if you haven't already done so, now is the time to take advantage of Debbie's special offer, because this is something you really do need to help you make your dreams a reality. Take advantage of this exciting and exclusive 90% discount. Click on the Add to Cart button now. The rest is easy. Fill in the form and click on the Submit Order button. So friends, thank you for joining me on this interview, and Debbie, thank you so much for sharing your inspiring insights with us today.
You're so welcome, and I wish everybody to create a wildfire in their life and step into the greatness and the contribution that you came here to be. Do that through your dreams, because you touch yourself and you touch everyone around you. You really do, and it's your time. The time is now.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pamela.
All right, friends, that's all for now. This is the Alternative Wisdom Summit, and I'm Pamela Davis, sending you blessings and best wishes. Bye-bye.